Hi everyone, my name is Karen Lanfear and I am the co-founder of the Sandpoint Transition Initiative. Richard, who is next to me, and I were on the initiating group. And there's Bev. And this is Bev.
Nothing to do with this.
And this is Bev from our mobility group. So this group represents the Sandpoint Transition Initiative as it has evolved over the last 2 years. And so we represent different sectors of our community. In a small community like Sandpoint, which is a market town for the entire county, we're standing in front of the farmers market that happens from May through October. And so as we go through this, you will learn that you too in your community have the assets to create a transition, and you can do it joyfully. And the next person in line is Bev from the mobility group.
Hi, I'm Bev. The mobility group started off by looking at what was already set up in Sandpoint, bicycle groups, pedestrian groups, local transportation, doing a lot of research into what was going on. We looked for some holes. There was a need for pedestrian issues. We've had some fatal traffic accidents crossing our highways. We've put together a pedestrian flag program to help cross the streets safely and promote safe walking. In Sandpoint is a walking town. And next person is Richard.
My name is Richard, as you heard already. I'm one of the co-founders together with Karen. We started this after I actually came back from England and took a workshop. And it was called Training for Transition. I had found out about that they started something like a transition movement in England, and I was really interested about this for a long time. I have a permaculture background, which is really very helpful in understanding about some of the basic concepts and ideas behind what transition is about. And came back and invited a few folks to my to Berta's, my wife, and myself home, and that's how it all started. So the start was really tapping into, for me it was into my passion and my care and also my concern about what is going on in the world and in our community. And I knew there's lots of people interested in making a change, a positive change, a change that takes us to a place where we work together, leverage all the skills and knowledge that are actually in our community, which we're finding out on a daily basis who actually is here and who can do things and all the backgrounds they have, and make it a town that we really want to live in, together with everybody. So for now, I pass this on to Pat.
And I'm part of the food group with Sandpoint Transition, and we were responsible for creating a community garden in Sandpoint. We started in 2009, and this is our second year of the garden, and it has grown. We started with like 1/3 of an acre of grass and have built it into 60 framed-in beds of vegetables, which a portion are donated to the food bank and other charity organizations. I think the thing I've learned most about just being involved in any community proposition is you got to have fun, and if it's not fun, it's not worth doing. And it started out, and I almost left the food group, I almost left Sandpoint, I almost left Idaho, all because of the food group. But it's not that difficult, truly, it isn't, honest. But I'm still thinking about it because I had a little trouble this year, but it's been a fabulous experience. And you know, I wrote an article for the Transition US, and it's the Field of Dreams concept. If you build it, they will come. And that's what happened, is that all of a sudden we started out with 70 people when we opened this whole thing up, ended up with like 14 and went down to probably 7, and now we're back up again, and we've got a wonderful group of people that are learning gardening for the first time, learning what real carrots taste like, kids are learning where carrots actually come from. And it's this marvelous little miracle that has happened since I've been here, is just watching this whole program grow. And what's happened, in my estimation, it's not about the initiative, it's about what happens with what you show people they can do. Since we put in the community garden, there's another community garden that's gone in and another one that's going in, and we had nothing to do with it other than exposure and letting them know that we're here to help and guide you. You can do this, and it's going to take a lot of work in the front end, but boy is it rewarding at the back end. And so it's been a great experience for me. I've met wonderful people, very good friends. None of them are here, but I have met. Not true, not true. Okay. Anyway, so I'll pass this on.
I'm Cricket Winsong, and I'm part of the education group and also the health working group. And it's been a marvelous experience. One of the things that we have co-sponsored are the educational films at the library, informing the community of how we need to change in order to create a more healthy and vibrant community around us. And as Pat said, it's been marvelous connecting with so many different people and inspiring them to do work on their own as well as within a community group. Like Mark and I, we had never planted a garden prior to this movement, and now we are gardeners for the first time, and that's really exciting because we're working with our Earth Mother in a very positive and productive way.
And I'm Dr. Mark William Cochran, and I've been facilitating the health working group since the beginning of the transition initiative, the Sandpoint Transition Initiative. And one of the things that came about in the health working group was following one of the core principles of the transition movement, and that is let it go where it wants to go. For a while we had a very small health working group, very small number of people engaged, and not a whole lot was happening. But then one of the things that blossomed was a brand new Sandpoint Region Holistic Chamber of Commerce. And once we started that group, which is not specifically a part of the Sandpoint Transition Initiative, just kind of an offshoot of it, once that started, a lot more people became interested and engaged. And we started the organization less than a year ago, and we have more than 20 paid members now. And we have some really exciting things in the works. And so the health working group as a health working group by that name isn't really operating anymore. And that's another one of the principles of the transition movement, is that once you get things up and running, the transition initiative itself actually kind of falls by the wayside as the things that you've started gain momentum. So that's been a really cool journey, and we're doing some really exciting things here in Sandpoint.
Hello, my name is Susan Fiskin, and I've been with the Transition Initiative since before the Unleashing. And where I find myself now is kind of an ombudsperson. I'm a floater. The project I'm involved with now is the Buy Local program. What I've loved about the Transition Initiative is the intention to create a resilient and sustainable and vibrant community. And one of the ways of doing it in a position such as ours is to ensure that the money of our community stays in our community. So I'll be working with Kate McAllister, who's the president of the Chamber of Commerce. And we've discussed this already about how we can make it a win-win-win for everybody in the community to buy locally, to keep our commerce here. You know, when I moved here 3.5 years ago, it was to find a more sustainable lifestyle. And I was so thrilled when Richard had started the Transition Initiative that I jumped in right away, both feet. And I think it's imperative for other communities to truly gather themselves together, push up their sleeves and work together to get their communities to work well, to let it be sustainable and resilient. And I'm just delighted to have met all of these fabulous people, and lots more that aren't here. The better ones. And that's it. Thank you all.
To start a transition movement is simply a matter of will, and Richard can be much more definite about the steps that we go through to start one. But the important thing for every community to understand is that in your community you have the ingredients of your own success. So every transition initiative develops itself based on the assets in their community. So look around you. Who's already in the game, who are people who for years and years have been working on these issues, and start bringing them together so that you can create a shared vision around what is possible if you start working together instead of in fragmented pieces. So the essence of it is to raise awareness together, to cooperate, and to start building coalitions that are really going to strengthen your own work and the work of the community.
And to have fun.
I agree with the fun portion.
She's the serious side.
We're loosening her up, bro.
Yeah, we're learning all to get a little loose and dance. Little exercise in between,
Let's do our nude
We need that, I tell you. The most important thing, like Pat has been saying, is fun. I word it this way. If you want to make something attractive beyond yourself, then
Get a facelift.
Then get a facelift. Yeah, but that's for yourself. Beyond yourself, then then make it beautiful, make it meaningful, make it inspiring. So concrete steps and have fun. Concrete things is. Bring together folks that have a passion. That's, I think, for creating a community that is valued by everybody. And what that exactly means is probably one of the first things you do when you get together. What is the vision that you have for your community? And that took us about 3 months to meet at least every 3 weeks, and then we did every 2 weeks. For 3 months we got together discussing what is the vision statement, on the mission statement that we have for our community. And it was an intensive process, and then we came up with the statement creating a sustainable, resilient and vibrant community. So the other part of that is also to recognize some of the concerns, and how do we bring these concerns to the awareness of everybody without creating doom and gloom, depression, which we personally might go through in our lives by all the information and things that might happen and that we see in the news and in our community. Do it in a way that acknowledges what's going on in terms of energy resources, other resources, the economy, maybe emissions, pollution, all these kind of things, and then take it as a challenge and as an opportunity. What can we as a community do about it? What is our answer so we create a way of living that is getting decoupled from these things? Meetings will happen. So find a diverse folks. Like for us, I have to admit, look at our average age here. And it has been efforts on our end to involve youth and kids, schools, and also other community groups, the faith-based groups, the environmental groups, just anybody really. So that's some practical things to consider and think about. Who else?
I think whenever you're looking to get a group of people together, one of the things that's imperative is to create a shared why. What's important about this? Like Richard said, to share a common vision and to be on the same page and to have it be emotionally invested enough that people are willing to put in their time and their energy. And I think as we move forward and the environment is more radical and supply chains are more fragile, that it will be easier and easier to get people on the same page. I think right now a lot of people are asleep. It feels like it's the Matrix, and we ate the blue pill. That we're able to see what's beneath the surface to the past the Maya, past the illusion, into what's really going on. And I think the more people that we can help become aware of how important it is to band together now while we still have the resources to make effective change without dire consequences, to create a big enough why that people get invested. And I think that's absolutely imperative.
And of course, because my clown chakra seems to be failing me at this moment, the serious one is going to tell you that just to pass on the fact that going back to having the ingredients of your own success, you have all these wonderful people in the community that have been doing this work for a long time. So it's re-inspiring and re-energizing, because when you come together, you do create that kind of synergy, and you do have a lot more fun. So we have, like the Six River Co-op has gone out and harvested the food resources in our community and then offered them back to us as consumers. The Building and Design Group has gone out and looked around and found the sustainable building practices that are obvious in our community. So they've organized 2 home tours, and they've organized an energy audit at the mayor's house, actually. The city is very cooperative with us. We have amazing alliances working on the folk school, working on energy cooperative, working with them on a cogeneration project that's just in the beginning stages, but these are things that are on the table for us to talk about. The Waste and Zero Waste Group is working with both the city and the county. So it's a matter of pulling all the players to the table and doing it around the shared vision. So those are just some of the things that we've been able to groups that we've been able to create, and projects that have been manifest in our community since we started, and that was just 2 years ago.
I'd like to add that it's can be very easy to come across to, well, we have the answer. But there's a joyful disclaimer. We don't. This is a huge experiment, and it's actually spreading in the last 5 years worldwide. There's over 300 communities that officially call themselves transition towns or transition communities. And so when we talk to others, one-on-one, or do presentations, we give talks. Some of us, most of us have given talks to other groups. For me, it's really important to say, well, look, we are all in the same boat, you could say. We have one world here, and we all have a lot of things actually in common. And then how you have been working, especially in other, like many environmental groups, they have been working intensively for decades to do good work, to do good things. So I don't feel even close to what they have achieved already and what they have done. So how can we support what you are doing from our perspective? How can we maybe on some projects work together?
Right.
How can we reach out to other groups? So we are more working together on same things and identify maybe areas where maybe something would be really great to happen there, but it hasn't happening. So maybe some of the resources of the Transition Initiative can help with that. Not to become the umbrella, but to become one of the spokes in the wheel of the community.
Ooh, nice one. Good metaphor.
The other thing is that in the United States, we were the second transition town. There are now over 70 transition towns, and of those transition towns across the United States, the official ones, they represent over 27 million people. They have contacts with over 27 million. We have hundreds of communities that are looking at becoming a transition town. They're called the mullers. They're mulling over the idea. And if they join, just the ones that are currently listed, if they join, our impact will be over 41 million people. So we will be working with these population bases. Even though the numbers may not seem large to other people, the impact is huge. And then, of course, as Richard said, we have an international impact as well. So why not? Why not join the fun and see what's possible in your community? And there's lots and lots of resources available to help you with this. Richard and I just attended the Northwest. All the transition towns in the Northwest got together in Seattle. I don't know how many were actually not all were represented, but there were 78 of us that came together to share ideas
It's not
around.
78 towns, though. It's,
Not 78 towns,
folks.
78 people. So from Salt Spring Island, from Vancouver, British Columbia, from Seattle, Whidbey Island, Portland. People came from the Flathead Indian Reservation, from Reno, Nevada, from here. And we came together to share ideas because none of us have created the transition in the same way. The Methil Valley in Washington has created theirs around emergency services planning. Portland, Oregon is creating theirs around neighborhoods. So the neighborhoods are developing their transitions, and those transitions are them working together on comprehensive issues that affect the entire town. Whidbey Island has done one of the world, really great food asset mapping project. So we came together to share all these different kinds of ideas. And around the world, we don't really know. I'm off to Brazil in November, so I hope to come back and answer your question with some Brazilian examples. Richard is teaching in Germany and Austria this coming year. So it just enriches every time we reach out.
All right. Have fun.